Introduction. Hello and welcome to our photography tutorial series. Today we will be discussing one of the most important concepts in photography, aperture. Aperture is a critical part of the exposure triangle, along with shutter speed and ISO. It determines the amount of light that enters your camera, affecting the depth of field and sharpness of your photos. In this tutorial, we will explain what aperture is, how it works, and how to use it to capture stunning photos. Segment 1. What is aperture? Aperture is the opening in the lens that lets light into your camera. It's measured in f-stops, which is the ratio of the lens's focal length to the diameter of the aperture. The smaller the f-stop number, the wider the aperture, and the more light that enters your camera. The larger the f-stop number, the narrower the aperture, and the less light that enters your camera. Segment 2. Depth of field. Aperture also affects the depth of field in your photos. Depth of field refers to the area of the photo that is in focus. A wide aperture, low f-stop number, creates a shallow depth of field, which means that only a small area of the photo will be in focus, while the rest will be blurred. This is great for portraits, where you want to blur out the background and focus on the subject. On the other hand, a narrow aperture, high f-stop number, creates a deep depth of field, which means that most of the photo will be in focus. This is ideal for landscapes, where you want everything in the photo to be in focus. Segment 3. How to use aperture. To adjust the aperture on your camera, you'll need to switch to manual mode or aperture priority mode. In manual mode, you'll have complete control over the aperture, while in aperture priority mode, you'll set the aperture, and the camera will automatically adjust the shutter speed to ensure the correct exposure. To create a shallow depth of field, use a wide aperture, low f-stop number, while to create a deep depth of field, use a narrow aperture, high f-stop number. Segment 4. Final thoughts. Aperture is a critical part of photography, and mastering it will help you capture stunning photos. Remember that the aperture not only affects the amount of light that enters your camera but also the depth of field. Experiment with different apertures to see how they affect your photos and use them to your advantage to create stunning images. Conclusion. That's it for our tutorial on aperture in photography. We hope you found it helpful and informative. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more photography tutorials.